Hi guys, that's me here and welcome back to another Futhead squad builder. Today we'll be looking at what I think England's World Cup squad, or first 11 at least, should be based on current form, current ability and just my opinions in general. So if we get into this, I'm going to go with a 4-4-1-1 formation. And let's start off with the goalkeeper. It's a pretty easy one. Obviously going to be Joe Hart. There aren't really any arguments for this one. You know, he's easily the best. He has had a bit of dodgy form recently, but I'm sure he'll be over that by next season. Hopefully Man City can do better next season. Hopefully he can be in like the form of his life going into it. This isn't, by the way, this isn't what I want. This is what I think it should be based on ability and what I think it will be. Should be, I should say. Ferdinand. There we go. Rio Ferdinand, he is, you know, just England's best defender easily based on this season. I personally think he should be PFA Player of the Year. So yeah, he's very experienced, which is obviously something you need at the World Cup. And just in general, a very good player. Easily been the best centre back in the Premier League this year, one of the best in the world. So yeah, he's definitely got to be in the squad next year. Hopefully his form doesn't drop next year and he can stick to this form, because I think he should be in the England starting 11. I don't think he will be, however, because Roy Hodgson isn't a very good manager. To be honest, I think there are many managers who would have the sense to play Ferdinand for some reason. I think Ferguson would if he was ever England manager. I think Mourinho wouldn't. Apart from that, maybe Moyes, but he's never going to be manager of England, is he? But I can't really see Roy Hodgson picking him, just because that's not the way he works. He hasn't worked that way in the past, and he really should. He really should do, but yeah, I don't think he will, unfortunately. Next centre back, I have a couple of players, but overall I think Gary Cahill is the right choice. You know, haven't seen him at a major tournament as a major main defender. He was obviously injured for the Euros, so I think he deserves that chance first of all. Also, he's the next best behind Ferdinand. There are players like Smalling, Phil Jones, I'm trying to think of someone else, Corker, who should definitely be in the squad, but I think Cahill is the best. It depends on how he plays next season though as well. You know, if he doesn't play great next season, I personally would play Corker next, and maybe Phil Jones or Smalling, but I personally play Corker. I think he's our best. Now I'm going to move on to the left back, and this one is going to obviously cause a bit of controversy. A lot of people think Cole's the best left back. A lot of people think Baines is the best left back. I personally think Baines this season has been better, and I think next season Baines will be better as well. He's younger, you know. We've got to get him some big tournament football. I'd say he's only got 2 more tournaments left in him. He is 28, so I think 28, 29, 27 maybe, around that anyway. So he's not young. He's also younger than Ashley Cole. I don't think Ashley Cole's going to be at his prime, and I personally would put Baines and Kieran Gibbs on the plane to Brazil. I wouldn't even bring Ashley Cole. I don't see a lot of point in. I don't see it benefiting us, because we're not going to win the tournament. Might as well get players like Baines and Gibbs that tournament experience. Now for right back, this is again going to cause a lot of controversy. We've got players like Nathaniel Klein, Glenn Johnson, Kyle Walker and Michael Richards. Now I personally think ability-wise Michael Richards is the best, but there's no way he's going to be playing for Man City next year at right back. He might get in centre back if they don't sign anyone, but I'm sure they will. They may even sell company. But Michael Richards' best chance of getting the England squad is by going as a centre back, which is really unfortunate, because he's easily probably one of the best right backs in the world. I don't see how Mancini doesn't play him. Whenever Michael Richards plays, he just does amazing, and every time he plays on, and every time City play Match of the Day and Michael Richards playing, they always pick out him. They always do. I'm just going to say that. But I think the right back should be either Walker or Klein if it's not going to be Michael Richards. I'll say Walker here. I don't think Glenn Johnson, again, it's the same thing as Ashley Cole. He's relatively old now, Johnson. He's no better, you know, than Walker or Klein or Michael Richards. In fact, I'd say he's the worst out of those 4, so I wouldn't pick him personally. However, he does have the experience, and again, I would say, you know, the only reason Ferdinand's in there is because he's world class. He's one of the best in the world. Ashley Cole and Glenn Johnson really aren't. Ashley Cole, especially this season, really hasn't been that good. Champions League final, and for England at the Euros last season, he was very good, but this season he just hasn't been very good at all. And yeah, I just put Baines there for future things. Now on the right winger, this one's obvious for most people. You've got to have Theo Walcott, really. You know, he is England's best. Well, he's probably one of England's best players. I'd say this season he's been our best player in terms of in the Premier League, apart from Ferdinand. Yeah, again, that's just an obvious choice, really. Lennon should go to the tournament, but I think Walcott, is better. And yeah, he's better. Now I'm not sure about this central midfield. I'm still trying to debate that one in my head. Still, I thought I had it sorted, but I'm not quite sure still. But this one is definitely a Wilshere for me. As long as he's fit, he should easily be in that England team. Had a good season when he's been playing with Arsenal. So far this season, he's easily one of the best central midfielders in the world. Up there in the top 10 in my opinion, above Xavi. I don't rate Xavi at all, which you should know if you are subscribed to me, for a while at least anyway. Yeah, but Wilshere's been absolutely amazing, and really I don't see anyone, you know, he has to be in the squad if he's fit, and he has to be in the starting 11 if he's fit. Now left winger is again one I'm not 100% sure on still. I thought I had that one already set in my mind, but again a few doubts have come into my mind, as they always do. So we're going to move on to the centre forward, and I'm going to go with Wayne Rooney for this one. Some people want him to play all the way up top. I think just behind the striker, and you'll see why I put Rooney behind this striker, because I think they can work really well together. But I think Rooney, you know, he's good at getting forward and back quite a lot. 1 second. Yeah, like I was saying, Rooney is good at getting forward and back quite a lot, and he's just in general one of England's best players again. I would say he's on the same level as Wilshere, Walcott, Ferdinand in terms of how good, and Hart in terms of how important they are for England at the World Cup next year. By the way, I think this squad could go as far as the semi-finals, possibly win if we're lucky. Obviously that's being very, very hopeful. Anyway, striker, I'm going to go with Daniel Sturridge. I don't see how you can't. He's been in good form for Liverpool. And then you look at the rest of our strikers. Welbeck, he's young, and he'll probably go, unfortunately, but no way he deserves it. You know, he's been... People say he was really good against Real Madrid. He didn't do anything apart from close down, and is that really something we want? Playing up front for us, alone? I mean, that's what they picked out for Torres yesterday. Do we really want a Torres playing for Chelsea on Match of the Day? Do we really want someone who's just going to close down up front? No, we want someone who's going to score goals, because Rooney doesn't guarantee them, Walcott doesn't guarantee them, and certainly no one else does. Sturridge doesn't guarantee them, but he's our best striker in terms of getting goals. Some people would argue Grant Holt, but he's a bit old, I'd say, and probably not as good as he was last season either. Darren Bent, hopefully he can get back into form. I don't think he will personally. Jermaine Defoe, a bit too old for me. I'd have Sturridge and build Sturridge's experience for this tournament. I would bring Welbeck along, just because he's one of the younger ones, but really we don't have many good strikers. I mean, the rest of the team, you know, we don't know our best positions apart from our best players, apart from probably Walcott and Wilshere, and Rooney is obviously going to be in there, and Hart. But in terms of the other central midfield spot for the World Cup, it's still up in the air. Left winger, all of the back four really, is still up for grabs. So yeah, I'd say Sturridge has to be our striker, but I can't really see anyone else. I should just kind of a quick player search and just see who else England have actually up front. The striker. So let's go position, striker, nation. Let's just, you know, just to see, just in case I'm completely forgetting someone that I shouldn't be. I don't think I am, but England strikers, and that's actual strikers I'm looking for. So yeah, you could play Walcott alone, but no, he's just a terrible striker, to be honest. Gary Hooper, no. Andy Carroll, depends on how he does it. Hopefully Liverpool next year. Hopefully he's at Liverpool, not West Ham. But really, looking below that, you know, Jay Rodriguez, okay, he's had a very good season. He might go, but he should be nowhere near starting. Ricky Lambert again might go, depending on how he does next season, but he again shouldn't be starting. Darren Bent, no, probably. Defoe again. Welbeck should probably go, and I personally would take where is he? Jay Rodriguez, but I wouldn't start him. So now on the left wing, I've just got to, I really want to make sure I get this right. Obviously got players like Ox, Young, Adam Johnson. So there are other players around, but I'm just trying to get the best player possible. Actually, no. For me, it has to be Oxlade, really. There we go. He hasn't had the best season this year, but he's proved in the games he's played for England. Every time he plays for England, he seems to play well. He hasn't had his best year at Arsenal. He's his second year, isn't it, I believe? So it's probably been the worst of the 2 years. But I believe next year, if he can get a bit more first-team football, he can push on. Hopefully, he can do well. But again, it's more about building for the future. Young, again, he's relatively old. Might make it to the Euros as well. But really, I'd expect Oxlade to be England's main left winger by Euro 2016. And Adam Johnson, just not playing high enough level of football, really. Well, he's playing in the Premier League, but he remains at Sunderland, and if they don't do too well next season, they may even go down. He might get snapped up by someone else. Who knows at the moment? But for me, it's Oxlade-Chamberlain's got to be, really, hasn't he? Now we're going to take a look at central midfielders. I want to just throw a few names at you by looking at this list. First of all, the ones that come straight off my mind, obviously Michael Carrick, Lampard, and Gerrard. Now you look here, and obviously Lampard and Gerrard aren't there because they're cams in this game. Paul Scholes, he very unlikely that he'll go. Michael Carrick, he could do, and he could work well, but I don't know. James Milner, I think he's better in the centre, but if he goes to the World Cup, he'll be playing on the wing, which is really unfortunate. Depending on whether Lampard can stay at Chelsea and still be playing how he is at the moment, I'll say Lampard, because I think he's again a really, really good player. However, if he doesn't stay at Chelsea, and if he can't keep playing to that same potential, then we can't have Lampard in there. And the next one on my list would probably have to be Gerrard. And I know I've left a lot of players out, like Ashley Cole and stuff, in terms of because they're too old. But I think Gerrard's one of those players who can really help us with something, and also he's likely to be captain, so he's likely to go anyway. So I think he's the most likely to play there. But whether he'll be good enough, I don't know. So there's a doubt over him. Carrick, I think, could easily be good enough. It depends on whether he wants to play for England, though. I think he's been one of the best central midfielders this year in the Premier League. He'll most likely get in PFA Player of the Year, Team of the Year, sorry. But again, it depends. Does he want to play for England? He's been ignored a lot. You can understand if he doesn't want to. Then there's that question of, okay, who plays next? Beckham's unlikely to go. He did say though that he would want to go. So let's just stick him in there, just for you to exactly see how it would look. Yeah, again, I think he's probably the best dead ball player left in the world, still in the world. Probably the best, well, one of the best long passes anyway, and certainly one of the best short passes. He's still insane, and if he stays at PSG next year, and if they can do well, and if he can get some first-team football, for me he's my first choice, because he's my favourite player in the world. But bias aside, I think he's a very, very good player. But then you look, it'll probably have to be James Milner if it's not one of them. Joey Barton, I wouldn't take him, too big an ego. Yeah, James Milner would have to be the one afterwards. So this is this is one of the positions that a lot of players are there for. A lot of players could possibly get. However, I think where the place it will go to will most likely be Steven Gerrard, as he will probably remain England's captain. So let's overview this now quickly. Joe Hart, Ferdinand, Cahill, Walker, Baines, Walcott, Gerrard, Wilshere, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Rooney and Sturridge. Players I've talked about, like Lampard, Milner, Carrick, Young, Corker, Jones, Gibbs, Smalling, possibly Glenn Johnson or Klein. I'd rather have Klein, Welbeck and Lennon. They could all come along as well, and feature in some games coming off the bench and what have you. Hopefully we don't have Gareth Barry. That'd be absolutely disgraceful. Somehow, unless he has a really good season, but if somehow he gets on the plane without having a particularly good season, that'd just be a disgrace. And I hope we do go with the youngest looking up team, with only these guys being over 30 at the time. I believe. I think Rooney will still be 29 or 28 at that point. But overall, you look at the team and it's quite a young one. So yeah, thank you for watching. Please leave a like if you did enjoy, and of course subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time. Thanks, bye.